Are you looking for inspiration on a daily basis? Then check out Deal to Heal Teas. With our inspirational teas, you're sure to find something to inspire you. That's dealtohealteas.com. Put some inspiration in your situation. Wear inspirational tea and be inspired all day. Let's go to dealtohealteas.com. Again, that's dealtohealteas.com. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this podcast, then I know you'll enjoy the Girl Dad Discussion podcast. I'm your host, Ernest James, and I believe the relationship between a daughter and her father is one of the most important relationships a young lady can have. And therefore, my mission is to promote the daddy-daughter relationship by sharing the voices of girl dads to the world. So check out our podcast on every platform where podcasts can be listened to. And if you want to watch the podcast, check us out on our YouTube channel. Again, that's the Girl Dad Discussions podcast with your host, Ernest James. Welcome to Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. On this podcast, my guest and I will discuss topics and ways to help us to heal in every area of our lives. I believe that everyone can live a life that is happy, healthy, and whole. So I'm on a mission to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill. Deal with your problem, heal from the pain, and fulfill your purpose. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. I'm your host, Ernest James, and I believe that everyone can and should live a life that is whole, healed, and healthy. And therefore, I'm on a mission to help people to deal, heal, and fulfill, to deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. If you haven't already, make sure you listen, like, subscribe, and share our podcast on all of our podcast listening platforms and your social media platforms, as well as make sure you guys check us out on our YouTube channel, which is the Deal to Heal Podcasting Network on YouTube, where not only will you be able to find the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast, which you are currently listening to, but you'll also be able to find the Girl Dad Discussions podcast, which is a podcast that I talk to other girl dads like myself, as well as sometimes we have daughters on to talk about the daddy-daughter relationship in order to combat the narrative of the absent father and the fatherless daughter. So again, you can find the Girl Dad Discussions podcast as well as the Deal to Heal with E. James podcast. Also, our product of the week, as you guys know, we are a self-sustained podcast, and the way that we stay on the air is by bringing you amazing products for you to purchase in order to help us out. So product of the week this week is our purpose journal, as well as our purpose planner, because I believe that we are to journal in order to remember where we've been and where we are, as well as plan for the future that we want. So you guys can go to Amazon. The links is in the description. So whether you're watching this on YouTube or whether you're listening to it on your podcast listening platform, just go to the descriptions and you will find the links to be able to purchase your purpose journal or your purpose planner, as well as a lot of other information that's in the descriptions. So make sure you guys go and check that out. I think you guys will be highly pleased with the different opportunities that we have and different information that we have there. So today, just like any other day, we are blessed with the guest. Cheryl, how are you doing?
I'm great, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Let me say thank you for being here, because you could have been doing anything else with anyone else, but you're here with me and my audience, and we definitely appreciate it. So, Cheryl, we're going to jump right in this thing. Do me a favor, introduce yourself to my audience, tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do.
Okay, my name is Cheryl Meyer. I'm known as the Health Muse. And 13 years ago, I was a solopreneur with my own jewelry design business. And I was doing everything to make my business successful except take care of me. And when my body started complaining, and the body complains with symptoms, that's its language, I ignored it. So my joke is first I got the poke in the shoulder, then I got the NCIS slap, and finally the 2x4 came down. I woke up one morning and I could not move. Everything in my body hurt. So I thought, was this a flu? What was going on? I waited a week. I went through 4 rounds of tests with my doctor, who called me and said, guess what? There's nothing wrong with you. I said, I can't function. Something is wrong. And I'm going to research and I'm going to find it. So I tripped into what's known as the functional medical community. I had no idea what I was looking for, but they caught my attention because they were doctors who had all gotten sick themselves and couldn't help themselves, or they had someone who they really dearly loved that they couldn't help. So they went back for additional training in functional medicine. And the difference is they are conventionally trained. They do have drugs in their toolkit, but they have a more holistic view towards the body, and they look at the whole body. So if something goes wrong in your body, they don't just say you've got a problem with your liver. They know that liver's the #1 problem with your heart. They look at everything, and all the pieces work together. So they look for the root cause, and then they start with holistic solutions. And if that doesn't work, that's when you might take a drug for a while to mitigate the symptoms until your lifestyle habits can change enough for your body to catch up to you. Sorry, I have a cat who's rolled over on my TV. Till your body can catch up to you and you can start to heal from the inside out. And what I discovered is we have a heck of a lot more ability to heal by taking care of our body. All those things I didn't do while I was building my kingdom are the things that would have given me more brain power, would have even made me more successful. I literally had a successful business, but bankrupted my body. So I was lucky. I had a very well-trained staff. I turned my business over to them and dug in. And it took me 5 years. I eliminated hundreds of toxins. There are poisons everywhere in our life. I was appalled and changed how I ate dramatically. I'm a big proponent of eating all the colors of the rainbow organically and to get them from a farm as close to you as possible, because the minute they're harvested, they start to lose some of their goodies. And as an example, spinach will lose 30% of its goodies within 3 days. So if you go to a farmer's market or you have a farm in the area, that's where you should be getting your food if at all possible. Now, that doesn't mean that if the only place you can get your food is from a Costco or from a Trader Joe where it's been warehoused for a while, you'd still buy it. You still try to get it organic, because you do not want poison with every bite of food, because that's going to take away all the advantages of the food itself. But by eating real food, not only do you get all the essential nutrients, which are the minerals and the vitamins that you need, but when I got sick, they had just discovered something called phytonutrients. And they're in the plant for the plant, and yet they have like miracle gifts for our bodies. When I started researching 13 years ago, they thought there were 10,000 of them. They now know that there's over 100,000 of them. And they can do things like shooting darts at cancer cells, or going to your mitochondria, which are the little battery packs in the middle of your cells, which is what gives you energy so that you can thrive and have all your brain power and feel fantastic. So my motto is, #1, you can't be great if you don't feel great. So take care of yourself. And #2, once you start to feel great, you are not willing to give it up. So I have all kinds of tips on how I maintain it. And it's non-negotiable to me, because my body will complain the minute I drop off that horse and I start to notice that I have a conversation with myself every morning when I look in the mirror. First, I tell myself how much I love me, because as you'll recall, that's what I think
Mm.
is significant for life joy and success. And then I ask my body, how do you feel? And I get quiet and I listen to it. I wish I had done that before I got sick. But if I've done something haywire, my body has a lot to say. Your body's very smart. Pay attention to it. But it speaks in symptoms. And if you don't get quiet to listen, you're going to miss it. So there are lots of things you can do to take almost any illness and reverse it. But you can do it in partnership with a medical doctor. But my deal with my medical doctor is I'm the person in charge. And yep,
Mhm.
I'll take that pill if you want me to take that pill, as long as you promise me when my test results reverse and I start showing that I'm making huge improvement, you get me off that pill. Because
Right.
my long time goal is to not be taking any medications at all. And in the 13 years, I have reversed type 2 diabetes. I've lost 80 pounds without dieting just by eating
Mm.
real food. And I had a very fatty liver, which we discovered accidentally. Most people don't know they have one. I had a fibroid. And when we scanned for it, the woman went, "Oh my God, you've got a fatty liver." It could have killed me. But it took me another 5 years to reverse that. And they're all healed, which is why I feel so good today. And it does feel good to feel good.
Wow, you said a mouthful already, and I can even take notes fast enough. But I want to go back to one of the things that you said, even started at the very beginning about building your business, but not necessarily taking care of yourself. So, as an entrepreneur myself, and definitely knowing other entrepreneurs, that is one of the things that we do. And I've heard it said that we spend all of our health, trying to make money, and then we end up having to spend the money to try to buy our health back. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so,
you have to practice self care. And self care is not just going for a massage. Self care is eating the organic rainbow. Self care is making time to move your body. Self care is getting 7+ hours of sleep at night, because you're worth it to do all these things. And if you're not doing them, it will catch up to you and it will detract from what you're contributing to your business and your staff.
yeah.
And one of the things I shared before we went on is that one of the things that happen when you eat this way and you have healthy lifestyle habits is it turns on all your happy hormones. So, standard American diet is ultra processed food. There's nothing real in it.
Yeah.
It's all chemicals. They have made it look like, sound like, smell like, taste like the real thing, but there's nothing real in it. And you are rebuilding cells every day of your life. So if you only got inferior building supplies, what do you think you're building? So
Mhm.
self care is doing all the healthy habits so that you can be the best that you can be. And who do you think your customers want to work with? Somebody who's right, or somebody who's happy, ready to take on the world, and who is a problem solver when you sit in front of your customer because you've been taking good care of yourself. You got to start there. It's the unknown thing for success that most
Mhm.
business owners miss. And certainly I did. I was manufacturing in Asia and all my customers were on the East Coast. I lived in LA. So I was traveling like a maniac. No wonder my body fell apart. And so you have to, I recommend you have the conversation every morning in the mirror. I recommend you listen to your body. And if it starts yelling at you, for God's sakes, pay attention, because there's a reason it's yelling at you and you don't want to get it so that you go over into toxic load or into an unhealthy body, because it's a lot harder to recover from that point than if you were taking care of it all the way along the line.
Yeah, yeah. And so I want to go back to a couple of things you said, and I'm gonna be a little selfish in this interview, right?
You're
because
allowed.
because I want to definitely get some tips for the audience, but I'll just use myself as an example since we are. But I know we talked about, should I say, I mentioned to you probably before we started recording, but I mentioned to you about even myself being on this health journey of wanting to eat better and also bring my sugar levels and things of that nature together. So let's first of all let's talk about, you mentioned about eating the rainbow. What exactly is that? And can you give us some examples
Now,
of those things?
the rainbow colors of food all have different gifts. And within each color family, different foods have different gifts. And what the difference is of those gifts, they're not your essential nutrients of minerals and vitamins. They're the phytonutrients. So red foods give your body totally different phytonutrients than purple foods do. Most Americans don't eat all the colors, but there's something magical that happens when all the phytonutrients of all the colors get together in your body. They party and they create health all over your body. They turn on your brain, they turn on your cognitive thinking, they turn on your creativity, they fuel your mitochondria, which are those little battery packs in your cells, so that you have the energy to sustain, to keep going so that you can be as great as you want to be. And it all comes from these phytonutrients that are in the plant for the plant. But if you're eating the full spectrum of colors, and then you're eating, like, let's say we're talking cauliflower. Cauliflower comes in white, purple, orange, and green. You want to eat all four colors, not all at the same time, but the first time you buy the white, and the second time you buy the purple, and then you buy the orange. And I used to live in California. We grew all the food for the nation. Well, now I'm in Arizona. It's not as easy to find, but my grocery stores here in the middle of the desert have all the colors. So you ought to be able to find them somewhere. And you want all of them because they each offer your body different gifts. And I also just discovered your health begins in your gut. I didn't discover that. That's a known fact. You have to have a healthy gut or you cannot have a healthy body. But the reason that you need all the colors and all the diversity is because different gut bacteria want to eat different things. Who knew? So if you're not giving your body diversity and all the colors so that you're getting all the phytonutrients, you're also not feeding your gut bacteria what they want to eat so that they're healthy. And what happens with chronic illness is if your gut isn't digesting your food properly, it's in too big of a chunk. And so you don't digest it down far enough. And there's something called leaky gut. So it starts pounding up against the wall of your gut, which is one cell thick. It's thinner than tissue paper. That sort of blew me away. So suddenly it rips a hole and it goes through into your blood system, and your body does exactly what it's supposed to do. It screams, foreigner, attack. And that's, and then your body does something really interesting. It identifies that food particle that shouldn't be in your blood in that largest piece of, and it attacks wherever you're weak in your body. For me, it was my joints and my muscles. What I got was fibromyalgia, which is not fun. It's an autoimmune disease, and they'll tell you you can't cure autoimmune diseases, but they're wrong. If you really start to take care of your body and you follow all the healthy habits, you'd be surprised what you can cure. I no longer have pain. That's enormous. So you want to eat the diversity. You want to eat all the different things that will feed your gut bacteria what they want. And then what happens is your gut bacteria break it down, and they break it down into fiber. There's no fiber in the standard American diet at all. Another reason not to eat it. There's also, you're not getting sugar as corn syrup and cane sugar and all that stuff, which is pure poison and lights up your brain like cocaine. And it's addictive. So you're not getting any of that stuff because you're not eating that stuff. And ultra processed food is loaded with it. So your gut bacteria break down